Very good morning, children. We are going to start our academic year. Uh, in 10th class biology, what content you are going to learn means different types of life process you are going to learn. Is it okay? So, the first lesson, very first lesson in your 10th class biology, Telangana state is said to be nutrition. So what do you understand with that word nutrition? So what it is going to make you to understand is it is said to be the food supplying system. The food supplying system. So you know that the living organisms are made up of different types of cells. So all the cells and the organisms with which they are made up of, they are in need of food. Is it not, children? So we are also taking food different times. So at different intervals or regular intervals we are going to take food. Like breakfast, lunch, then evening snacks, dinner, like the 2 or 3 times we are going or 3 or 4 times we are going to take our food. So what for that food is needed? So you know that definitely you are going to give the answer that we need food to get energy. So we are taking food to get energy. So what for this energy is needed? You know that energy is needed for performing different kinds of functions. So different kinds of works we are going to perform. So to perform different types of works, we are in need of energy. That energy we are going to get through the food. Is it clear to you? Then, so here the single celled organism like amoeba. Amoeba is said to be unicellular. Example is amoeba. It is a unicellular organism. There are multicellular organism, whatever it may be. Multicellular organism like plants you can take, or animals you can take, or human beings you can take, man or plants or birds. So all these organisms, maybe the unicellular organisms or the multicellular organisms, they are performing different types of functions, and to perform those functions they are in need of energy, and that energy we are going to get through the food. Then, so now food means what you will tell. So different types of substances we are going to take. Some of the substances we are going to drink also. Some of the substances we are going to eat, and we are getting those substances from plants as well as animals. So what do we call those substances? So different types of substances all the living organisms are taking, and what do we call those substances? So those substances where the organisms are going to making use of them are called as nutrients. Is it clear to you? So what do we call those substances what we are eating or drinking, like milk, you can take tea or coffee. Also all these, they are called as nutrients. So now what are nutrients? So immediately we will get a doubt, no children, what are nutrients? So nutrients are chemical substances. Is it clear to you? So they contain some chemicals which are useful to the living organisms. So nutrients are chemical substances which are in simple form or in a complex form. Is it clear to you? So we are going to make use of nutrients, or we are going to consume nutrients which are said to be in simple form or in complex form. Whether it is amoeba or multicellular organisms like man or plants, they are going to make use of nutrients which are said to be chemicals, and they are present in simple form or in complex form. Is it clear to you? So simple form example, you can take a glucose. Complex form, you can take starch. Is it clear to you? So like that, these nutrients are needed for all living organisms. So in the previous class you learned that these nutrients, how the organisms are going to make use of them and how they are going to be produced or how they are prepared. So how they are made available to the living organisms, all that you have learned in the previous class. So now what are nutrients? Nutrients are said to be in chemical substances which are said to be in simple form or in complex form, and examples are for simple form glucose and complex form starch, and they are needed and they are going to be used up by all living organisms to get energy, and with that energy whatever we are going to take through these nutrients is needed for performing all kinds of life activities or life processes. So these nutrients are needed for all living organisms to get energy, I said. So these are examples for nutrients. So what are the different types of nutrients which we are going to consume? So carbohydrates, then fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals. Is it clear to you? So carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals are the different types of nutrients where the organisms are going to make use of them to perform different types of activities. Is it clear to you? So now in this carbohydrates, fats and proteins are said to be macronutrients. So where the living organisms are going to consume in larger quantity, and vitamins and minerals are going to be made available to the cells or living organisms in smaller quantity, so they are called as micronutrients. So about this you have knowledge, in the previous class you learnt about that. Is it clear to children? So now how these organisms are going to make use of this. So how they are going to prepare the different types of nutrients. So what is meant by nutrition? So you learned till now the nutrients. What are nutrients, and how many types of nutrients are there? What are they? All that you learned. So now what do you mean by nutrition? So nutrition means what? So just now you learned. So different types of substances we are going to consume, or living organisms are going to consume. So that intake of nutrients. So whatever the nutrients the organisms are going to take, so that process is called as a nutrition. Is it clear to you? Procurement of nutrients or intake of nutrients is called as a nutrition. So now we are going to learn in this lesson that how the organisms are going to get the nutrients. Okay, and how many types are there, what are they, in detail we are going to learn in this lesson. Now we learn about types of nutrition. So till now you learned what are nutrients and examples you learned. What is meant by nutrition also you learned. So how the organisms are going to get nutrients? So that there are different modes of collecting nutrients by the living organisms. So that we are learning under types of nutrition. So if you observe the plants, okay, so how do the plants prepare or get their nutrients, and how we are going to get nutrients? For example, we people, okay, so are any other animal or any other bird or any other animal, how it is going to get food, and what type of food items they are going to get, because the organisms are not going to take same type of food items. So different types of food items are going to be used by the organisms. So now how basically the organisms are going to prepare food? So it is of two types. So there are two types of nutrition. Okay, so In what way? How the organisms are going to get their food. So now the first type is said to be autotrophic nutrition, and second one is a heterotrophic nutrition. So there are two major types of nutrition, children. One is said to be autotrophic nutrition, and second one is said to be heterotrophic nutrition. So what does it mean? Autotrophic nutrition. Okay, auto means you know that self. Okay, self preparation. So the organisms, how they are going to get the food, those organisms are not going to depend on any other organisms. Okay, so that type of nutrition is called as a autotrophic nutrition. In heterotrophic nutrition, what is happening? The organisms cannot prepare their own food. Apart from that, they have to depend on other organisms for a energy source, that is for food. So that type of nutrition is called as a heterotrophic nutrition. Is it clear to you? Then the organisms which are going to prepare the food on their own, they are called as autotrophs. So organisms are called as autotrophs, which are preparing their own food on their own and which depend on other organisms, are called as heterotrophs. So those organisms are called as heterotrophs, means they have to depend on other organisms. They cannot prepare their own food. Whereas autotrophs, they can prepare their own food. Is it clear to children? So from the surrounding environment, they are going to collect the substances and they are preparing. Okay, so they are those organisms are called as autotrophs. So you know that the examples for autotrophs are plants and some kind of microorganisms like bacteria, and heterotrophs example animals. Is it clear to you? So now we will learn the differences between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition and autotrophs and heterotrophs. So it will be given question, write the differences between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Is it clear to you? So for that you must have an idea that what are the differences. So you can prepare now your own notes or not, children, with this. So in what way? So the organisms which prepare their own food are called as autotrophs, and the organisms which cannot prepare their own food are called as heterotrophs. So now differences: autotrophs and heterotrophs. So first one, prepare their own food. Prepare their own food. Whereas here heterotrophs cannot prepare. So these heterotrophs cannot prepare their own food. Okay. Second one, they are making use of inorganic substances. Make use of inorganic substances. What are these inorganic substances here? Simple substances like carbon dioxide is there, water is there. Okay, so they are going to be used up here. Whereas here they are making use of organic substances. Prepared by these organisms. Okay, so what are these organic substances which are prepared? Maybe carbohydrates or proteins or fats, like that. Then here in autotrophs, what is happening means some of the cell organelles. Okay, so what are those cell organelles? You have learned different types of cell organelles in 9th class. So the cell organelle whichever is helping in preparing food and which are taking part in the very important life process, which is said to be photosynthesis. So what are those cell organelles means? Like chloroplasts. And these chloroplasts are the cell organelles which are having pigments. Okay. So what is that pigment present here? Chlorophyll is there. Chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll is used up and they are preparing the food. So here no need of pigments. No need of pigments in preparing food in a heterotrophs. Is it clear to children? So here chlorophyll pigment whichever is present in chloroplast is used up for preparing food material, whereas here there is no need of pigments. So examples are said to be here plants, and here example animals and human beings. Animal and humans. So these are the differences between autotrophs and heterotrophs. So this is 2 marks question. Please make a note of it. Now we will learn about the organisms, how this supplying system is going to happen, and what do we call that process whichever is done by the plants. Okay, so just now you learned the differences between the autotrophs and heterotrophs. So I said just now substances. So those substances are called as nutrients. So you also learned that. So those substances are called as nutrients, and what is the use of these nutrients? Okay, why do the organisms are in need of nutrients? Just now you learned that it is for energy. So energy, what for it is needed means to function. So if we observe the living world, whether it is amoeba or human being or any other living organism, so all living organisms are going to perform some functions. From birth to death, all the living organisms are performing some activities. Okay children, so we are performing some activities. So can you guess what are the activities which we are performing? So we are breathing. So breathing, so we can call it as respiration. Breathing in air and breathing out air. So that is respiration. Is it not children? And we are taking food, and what is happening to that in the alimentary canal means the food is getting digested. Is it not? So that process we call it as digestion. Is it not children? And the heart is supplying blood, so that is called transportation. So like that different types of activities are going to be performed by the living organisms. So any living organism you can take, whether it is single cell or multicellular organism. So they are performing the activities for the survival. Okay, if we want to survive, if any organism want to survive, they have to perform some functions. So those functions are performed because of the substances. Substances, nutrients they are said to be. And this intake of nutrients, nutrition. Is it not children? So what do we call that? Activities which are performed by living organisms means they are called as life processes. It is one more question. What is life process? So all living organisms which are performing some of the, not some of the, all the functions of the body, any living organism, okay, for the survival, they are called as a life process. So what are the examples of this life process? Digestion, respiration, excretion, then transportation, is it clear to you? So etc. like reproduction. So digestion, respiration, excretion, transportation, reproduction. So all these life process. So suppose if you take in plants, so you learned in 9th class that plants are performing very important life process, that is said to be photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Is it not children? So it is happening only in plants, whereas the plants are also respiring, then plants are also excreting, or plants are also transporting the materials. So all living organisms are performing some activities. No, they are called as life process, and these are called as examples for different types of life process. Is it clear to you? Everybody followed? So make a note of it. It's very interesting to know that how the organisms are going to perform these life activities, and how the different types of life activities are going to be happening. Okay, so how the plants are able to prepare food material by the process called photosynthesis, or how the plants are able to transport the food materials, or how plants are able to take water, or how plant is able to supply the starch to the different parts, so like that. And other living organisms, how the digestion of food is going to happen, or other life process is going to happen. To know that, it is very interesting. So on that, scientists are working for so many years, and it has taken more than 200 years to know how the organisms are going to get their nutrients. So first we are going to learn about the plants, which are examples for autotrophs, and how they prepare food material. Okay children, so you know that the plants are going to prepare food. So plants are preparing food by themselves, so they are called as autotrophs. So plants are called as autotrophs, and the nutrition whichever is carried out by the plants is called autotrophic nutrition. And how the autotrophic nutrition in plants is going to happen. So it was studied by the scientists. It has taken more than 200 years, just now I said. So that process, how the plants are able to prepare food, is called as a photosynthesis. What do you mean by photosynthesis? So in the previous class you learnt preparation of food by the plants is called photosynthesis. Like that you learnt, no children? So in 10th class, in detail, you are going to learn what are the substances needed for photosynthesis, and what are the end products, and what is happening to that, where it will be transported or where it will be stored. All that we are going to discuss in detail in the process called photosynthesis. So for the first time, Van Niel So for the first time, C.B. Van Niel in 1931. In 1931, he gave an idea about the process of photosynthesis. So what are the substances needed? So here substances we learned, which are said to be in simple form or in complex form. So what are those substances called? Just earlier also you learned, they are called as nutrients. Okay. So the plants are going to make use of inorganic substances. Inorganic substances. So what are those inorganic substances? Means carbon dioxide and water. Is it clear to you? So carbon dioxide, which is present in the air, is going to be entering into the plant. Suppose if so if you observe this, so the carbon dioxide is going to be taken up from the air. Okay, so carbon dioxide is going to enter into the leaves. Is it clear to children? Through stomata. You learned that carbon dioxide from air is going to entering into the leaves through stomata. Do you remember what are these stomata? Stomata are developed from the dermal tissue, and they are present in the upper and lower epidermis of the plant parts, and they are the small pores which are present in green parts of the plants, and they are allowing the gaseous exchange. Is it clear to you? The entry or exit of substances is going to happen here. Carbon dioxide and oxygen is going to happen through stomata. Then water. So how this water is going to be made available to the plants? So we are supplying water to the plant. So soil, from the soil, so the roots whichever are present, they are going to take water. Okay children. So the water is going to be transported in the upward direction through tissue. What is the tissue? Do you remember children? Xylem tissue helps in transporting water in the upward direction in the plants. So now here carbon dioxide and water through roots. So it is going to be entering into the plant and in presence of sunlight. Okay. So to do or to perform any work, we need some energy. So how that energy is going to be made available to the plants? Means that is through sun. Is it clear to you? So sunlight. So the sunlight is going to be used up by the pigment. What is that pigment present in the leaves? You know that chloroplasts are present in leaves, and chloroplasts contain a pigment called chlorophyll. Is it clear to you? Chlorophyll is a pigment which is present in the chloroplast. So that pigment chlorophyll and water, carbon dioxide. Okay. So this sunlight energy, solar energy or visual energy, it is going to be whenever it is falling or hitting on the leaves. So it is received by the chloroplast and it reaches the pigment chlorophyll and light is getting activated and the inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water are going to be converted to starch, which is said to be organic molecule. Is it clear to you? So what is prepared in the plants, children? So they are going to make use of inorganic substances, simple substances, that is carbon dioxide from air and water from the soil is going to be made available or used and they are going to prepare organic molecule called glucose. Glucose is a organic molecule. Is it clear to children? So that was given by C.B. Van Niel in 1931. So how that process has happened, we are going to discuss in detail. So for the you learned that Van Niel has formulated the equation for photosynthesis. So to explain or to say that process of photosynthesis, like plants are going to make use of inorganic substances and in presence of light with the help of chlorophyll they are going to prepare organic molecule called glucose. So it is easy to say, no, but it is a complex process. Is it clear to children? It is a photochemical process. Is it not? So that is given Van Niel in 1931. He formulated an equation and that equation was used widely for a longer period of time. So carbon dioxide and water are used in presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. This organic molecule is prepared. So for each molecule of carbohydrate formed, one molecule of water and one molecule of oxygen is released. It was given by Van Niel. But later many scientists they worked on that and Van Niel what he has done means instead of water, he made use of hydrogen sulfide. Purple bacteria he used. So for bacteria preparing, which is said to be a blue-green algae like cyanobacteria example. So how it is going to prepare food means taking energy. So hydrogen sulfide is used. So when hydrogen sulfide is used, sulfur is formed. Is it clear to you? But it is not correct. Later Robert Hill he formulated equation for glucose formation, that is photosynthesis. Here to get one molecule of glucose, Robert Hill he used 6 molecules of 6 CO2 and 12 molecules of water. Okay, 6 CO2 plus 12 H2O in presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. So the plants are able to prepare 1 molecule of glucose. Okay children, C6H12O6, 1 molecule of glucose plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. Is clear to you? So Van Niel, what he said, instead of water, he has used hydrogen sulfide. Is clear to children? So when that process is done, no doubt, maybe it glucose, the organic molecule may be formed, but not the oxygen. What is released here? Sulfur is released. But in the process of photosynthesis, what is the importance of photosynthesis? So why it is needed for all living organisms? You know, the photosynthesis process is going to help in releasing oxygen. Is it not children? So that oxygen is needed for all living organisms in this world for survival. Is it not children? So that was given by Robert Hill. So that's why this reaction is called as a Hill's reaction. So what he has done here? So the balanced equation. So 6 molecules of carbon dioxide is used with 12 molecules of water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll pigment present in leaves. The plant is preparing 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen and 6 molecules of water. Is it clear to you? So now what you understood children with this? So it has taken a lot of time for scientists to give the process of photosynthesis, how it is going to happen. Is it not children? So in previous classes, in the 7th class, you learnt nutrition in organisms. You are Wilmot, then Van Niel and other scientists who worked on the different gases which are present or which are used up and which are released. So all that if we keep in order, we can understand easily the process of photosynthesis, how it is going to happen in plants. Is it clear to you? Just now you learned that what is meant by photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. So what is meant by photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a photochemical reaction, complex process in which the plants are making use of inorganic substances, carbon dioxide and water, and in presence of sunlight and with the help of chlorophyll, they are going to prepare glucose, which is said to be an organic molecule. Organic and a carbon compound. Is it clear to children? So that glucose preparation is called photosynthesis, which is happening in plants. Is it clear to you? So now what you can understand with that? And in that preparation of glucose, what are the other substances released? Means you learned oxygen and water also released. So the water is going to be just evaporated and oxygen is released into the atmosphere. So now you can conclude this lesson. What is the importance of photosynthesis? Is it not children? So photosynthesis is very important, and photosynthesis is preparing food, that is glucose, and the photosynthesis process that is happening in plants, and so the plants are considered as a universal food providers. So why the plants are called as universal food providers? For the entire planet Earth, the food is prepared by the plants. Which process? Photosynthesis. Apart from that, what is the importance of photosynthesis? So you know that oxygen is released, and this oxygen is very much essential for all activities to perform in the living organisms, like respiration is happening, releasing process, energy releasing process. Here energy preparing process is happening. So energy is provided by the plants and oxygen is released. Then the photosynthesis means plants. In plants it is happening. So plants are promoting rains. More plants are there means they are going to keep the air fresh and pure. Means pollution will be controlled. And we are getting fossil fuels also. And these are all said to be the uses of photosynthesis. it is better importance of photosynthesis. Is it clear to you? So universal food providers, they are going to provide food for all the living organisms. Is it clear to you? So now in tomorrow's class we will discuss about the process of photosynthesis, how it is going to happen, and other works which are carried out by the scientists also we will discuss tomorrow. Thank you.